Good morning. It's John, aka Photos, and I thought that I would, as promised, do a video, give you guys some thoughts about my hike, the thru-hike, perspectives, lessons learned, random musings, and I thought instead of doing it sitting in my house, I would give it to you in snippets as I'm taking a walk around one of my favorite places to be, State College, Pennsylvania. So I'm going to do a little random set of thoughts along the way as I do a walk and let you know what I think. Hopefully that works for everybody and you guys get a kick out of it, and we'll see how it goes. So first up, I'll tell you, what have I been doing since I got home? So it is, today's Sunday. I summited Katahdin 2 Wednesdays ago. So what's that? Like 12, 13 days? 10, 11, 12 days, something like that. I don't think I've been doing a lot, to be honest with you. I feel like I've been semi-productive compared to being highly productive, getting up and hiking about 15 miles every day. You just get caught up in a lot of stuff that has to get done. Cleaned all my gear, stowed most of it, not all of it yet. Caught up on bills, and I'm a big user of Quicken to pay bills. I had 4 months worth of Quicken to kind of get caught up on. Had to get some things fixed, stuff with my car. So yeah, semi-productive. But yesterday I went up and was at Bucknell University in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, and played my first round of golf and a golf outing up there with a fundraiser for the football team that my son's on. Trying to throw a picture up of he and I. We had a great time. I was surprised that my game was as decent as it was, considering I'm not a very good golfer. But I was way better than I thought I would be, having not played since, I don't know, last September. But yeah, so I haven't been too busy. The first day after Katahdin, and you guys might, some of you that follow Captain Jack's channel will have seen this, I stayed at the AT Hiker Hostel in Millinocket, and turns out in the bed, literally almost right across the aisle from me, I could have reached out and touched it, was Captain Jack. So it was good to see him one last time before I was done and before he did his yo-yo. We had breakfast together with a group of people. Dr. Freeze, Sir Sweep, father and a daughter from down near Auburn, Alabama, Dad and Ocho. They were finishing their section hike of the AT and the Pinhoti Trail. Ocho was, I think, 16 years old, badass kid. Really enjoyed spending time with her. And one of their buddies joined them for the 100-mile wilderness. And yeah, so it was really cool. And then I made my way back, got the shuttle from AT Hostel to Medway. In Medway, you pick up a bus and you take the bus to Bangor, Maine. And then in Bangor, I ended up renting a car and driving like 670 miles to here in State College. I have a weekend place up here, and I keep a car up here in the wintertime. It's a convertible that I don't want to keep at home during the winter. So I grabbed that, stayed here for a couple days, and then drove home. So that was what's been going on. And let me get a little further along here on that walk and tell you some random thoughts and musings about the hike. All right, back again. So what do I think about the trail overall? Overall, I thought it was an amazing adventure. A really unique experience. Way more involved in like every way than I had expected or thought. And I didn't go into this thing like blind. I read a lot of books. I watched videos. I thought I had a really good sense of it all, but it's one of those things, and it really hit home for me yesterday when I was at this golf outing, and a lot of my son's teammates and coaches and stuff were following along, and they're all, telling me, oh, that was great, and, asking me questions about it. And as you explain it to people who haven't done the hike, it's just, I don't think it's possible to get people to understand it really, and understand how freaking hard it is. So yeah, you try to explain it, and I think a lot of people think like, oh, you went for a nice little walk in the woods for 4 months. Then you start explaining it to them, their eyes open up a little wider, and they realize some of the crazy stuff, but I don't think they really can appreciate it. And even myself, I intellectually knew what everybody says, that when you get to New Hampshire, you got 80% of the miles done, but you still have 80% of the work to do. And you can read that, 100 times, and it really doesn't hit home until you're going through Mahoosic Notch and climbing up Mahoosic Arm and Old Spec and pulling your hair out because it's the hardest thing you've ever done. So it's one of those things that it's an accomplishment that I think a lot of people will recognize was a cool and hard thing to do, but I don't know that as many people will really appreciate the difficulty that it was. So that's one thing. The other thing that I thought about over this last week is what a tremendous melting pot of humanity it really is. I had the chance to meet people from every walk of life, to be honest with you. And it was just so cool to be able to do that. It's folks I wouldn't meet in my normal daily routine, kind of where I'm at, what I'm doing these days. I met a ton of 20-somethings that were really fun to hang out with. I met a few older guys my age, one a retired lawyer, met a retired entrepreneur, just recently sold a business in the last couple of years. Where else would I have met a guy who's hiking and overcoming addiction issues? I'd say one of the coolest things I did was go out and do a little day of canoeing with Captain Jack, guy that I probably never would have crossed paths with in real life, and I thought that was super cool. So it really is a melting pot of humanity, and people out there all seem to get along pretty well. I mean, it's not without drama out there a little bit, and families get together, and anytime there's people, there's drama of some sort, because people bring drama sometimes. But seemed like
time 17 minutes 2 seconds, total distance 1.0 miles, average pace 17 minutes 2 seconds per mile, split pace 17 minutes 2 seconds per mile.
Okay, so I don't know if you just heard that. That was Map My Walk, which I have on. So have a slow pace going in my 1 mile walk, 17 minutes for the first mile. But yeah, the people that you meet along the way, and I'm going to try and throw some pictures up. I haven't gone through all my pictures yet, but I'm going to try and throw some pictures up here of folks I got to meet along the way that really made the trip. So yeah, that's a couple random thoughts right now. I'll give you some more when I get a little further up on this walk. we are up on campus at Penn State, and so I thought I'd show you a couple of things here while I'm on campus. First thing I'm going to show you, since we're walking by it, the Berkey Creamery. If you guys are ever in State College, Pennsylvania, you have to stop at the Berkey Creamery. Best ice cream in the world. It's a tradition to come up here and get creamery ice cream. Penn State started teaching courses in ice cream manufacture back in the late 1800s, believe it or not. It's because it's an agriculture and kind of food science school at its heart, and engineering. I should put in there since I was an engineer here. They offer an extension course. It's like a 1 week or 2 week certificate course in ice cream manufacture that tons of people have taken, including the famous Ben and Jerry of Ben and Jerry's fame. So if you want to get some real ice cream, you come and you check out the creamery, and it's always a good experience. So one thing I was thinking about is lessons, I don't know if it's lessons learned, things I wish I had done a little differently for the trek. And I guess the first one that pops to mind is I just wish I had got myself in better shape to start. Even though the plan was to do that middle Atlantic section from Harper's Ferry up to the middle of New York late in the fall as kind of all my training hikes. I really didn't realize how easy that section is compared to the rest of the trail. Everybody complains about Pennsylvania and the rocks, but I gotta tell you, that's nothing compared to the hills you gotta climb up north, or even some of the hills down south. So I wish I would have done more elevation hiking, ups and downs as a prep. And I ended up dropping 23 pounds during the trip. I wish I would have at least dropped 10 or 15 before I started, just to take pressure off my feet and knees, and just to get my legs in stronger shape. By the end, they were just so fatigued that it made the hard section that much harder. And now maybe no matter what I did, they were gonna get fatigued. I just, when you're 60, you don't recover like when you're 20. And so maybe that's just to be expected. And the only solution for that is lower mile days. But I'm still stubborn and want to try to put big miles up in my own head. So that was a constant battle. But that's one of the things I wish I had done different. Just change my training up a little bit differently, and yeah, and been a little bit better physically prepared for the trail. See if that would have made some stuff a little bit easier along the way. I'll show you some more. I'll show you something else up here, a big iconic thing up around the corner in a minute. All right, now we're about to see the most photographed spot on the Penn State campus, where graduates come, alumni come, people come with their little kids and their babies, and everybody wants to get their picture taken on the famous Nittany Lion right there. Sculpted by Heinz Warnecke, I think 1947, if I'm remembering my alumni information correctly. But yep, that is the Nittany Lion. Super cool, and everyone comes here to get their picture. It's a big graduation spot, as you can imagine. And yeah, so there you go. It sits right across the street from that building, which is called Recreation. It says Recreation Building on it. Everybody calls it Rec Hall. That's where the men's and women's basketball teams used to play a long time ago, before they built a bigger arena on the other side of campus. The men's and women's volleyball teams play there. They're both generally nationally ranked. And the best tenant there right now is the men's wrestling team, who is an absolute dynasty. They have won 11, I think, of the last 13 national championships. They are literally a juggernaut. So Coach Cale Sanderson has built up a program of unbelievably good guys and amazing wrestlers, many of whom go on to the Olympics and have been winning gold medals for the United States. So that's Rec Hall. Hello, hello. So this is probably the second most photographed thing on Penn State's campus back behind me. That is Old Main. That is the administration building. Actually started when the college was first started. That thing was like 2 stories taller, didn't have that big clock tower, and that was like the main building where I think they actually had dorms in there and classrooms when it was first Pennsylvania's Teachers College, Pennsylvania's Agriculture College. I forget what we called this way back when, but now it's like the iconic picture that everybody gets of when they come to campus besides the Nittany Lion. So a couple other things I was thinking about in terms of lessons learned or things I wish I did different. And I don't know if it's a wish I did different, but because of the way I did the hike, where I did the Mid-Atlantic first and then went down south and, you know, came up to Harper's Ferry and skipped ahead to New York, made it harder for me to kind of get into a tramline. And I don't know that I would have ever gotten into a tramline, but I definitely feel like I pushed myself a little bit more when I was hiking with other people or with and around other people. Certainly enjoyed, as you guys all know, hiking with Nichols early on. We got thrown together under crazy circumstances, probably the worst weather day on trail, and did some really fun things that I probably wouldn't have done on my own. Getting up early in the morning to go watch a sunrise, checking out Klingman's Dome for sunrise. That was pretty cool. So that was fun. And, you know, at the end there, you know, it really helped hiking with Tadpole for those first 4 days heading into Monson. I put bigger miles up than I would have definitely done myself. And by doing that, put myself in a position to finish the day that I finished when the next day was a really bad weather day. So, you know, the trail provides, I guess they say. It was good that I bumped into him again and saw him since I'd seen him down south. And the trail definitely provides. It's just unbelievable how many people are so gracious and so giving and just willing to help other people out. I mean, I literally got trail magic my first day down south when I realized I forgot to bring a canister of fuel, and met 3 women that were day hikers that had an extra sandwich that they gave me. And then the next day met Bachelor, who was carrying 2 canisters of fuel and didn't want to carry 2 canisters, so he gave me 1. And that was just, you know, from the beginning. So it really is amazing how they say the trail provides. It really does along the way, and it seemed to all the way to the end. So that was super cool. And you know, if I had more time, if I was doing it differently, you know, it would have been cool to find somebody that I could keep up with and, you know, hike at the same pace and kind of do that as a tag team a little bit. I don't know that I could do a big fat tramline, just because, you know, when I take 0 days, I want to take 0 days, and then I feel like I'm leaving people behind, or I'm kind of forcing the issue and stuff like that. So I don't know. It would be it's hard because I like being alone out on the trail a lot, but I do like when I'm hiking with somebody else. I feel like I get a little bit more productive, and definitely enjoy some of the company, you know, along the way as well. So that's one thing I keep thinking about. If I do another long hike, you know, do I find somebody to pair up with and kind of we maintain the same pace and figure that out. So I'll have to think about that a little bit more. But let me keep moving and show you maybe one last iconic spot here on campus and wrap up. Alrighty, this is our last stop on the Penn State tour. This behind me is the famous Beaver Stadium, where the Nittany Lion football team plays most Saturdays in the fall. And that spot right there behind me is where I parked the RV when we tailgate up here. I haven't done that in a few years, since I've been going to Bucknell Bison football games to watch my son play. But after his senior season this year, I'll be back doing some tailgating up here. So, final closing thoughts, I guess. A couple of things. What did I learn? What did I learn about myself? I learned that I could push myself harder than I ever thought I could. I learned that I complain a lot along the way when I'm faced with a tough situation, but I think that's more of how I vent my frustrations and cope with it, and then just push through it. So try to complain and whine a little less, especially now that I know I don't think there's anything I can't push myself to do. I'm really kind of proud that I did it. It was one of the first times ever in my life I was doing something and I felt like, you know, maybe you're a little old for this. And I'm determined not to feel that way. I'm going to get in better shape. I've been to the gym a couple times. I signed up and I'm going to work out with a trainer starting Monday, tomorrow. And I'm going to make sure the next adventure I go into it in just better physical condition so I can push myself hard, because I enjoyed doing that, and it felt like a sense of accomplishment. So that was probably the biggest learning, is that, you know, you set your mind to something and you just grind it out. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the support of all my family, my friends, and all you guys on the channel. It's just amazing the amount of support you get when you do something like this. Now, it helps to tell everybody you possibly know that you're going to do it. So peer pressure is enormous, at least to me, to force me to just keep plugging along. But yeah, I was really happy that I did it. And in terms of what's next, a lot of people ask what's next. Immediately what's next is, like I said, I'm going to spend a little time getting my stuff. I've gotten pretty good shape, but I don't want to fall back into bad shape. So you're going to get to the gym, do a lot of working out. Fall football season starts, and so I will be back on the sidelines stalking the Bison as they play their season this year, taking pictures. I'm looking forward to that. It was great to see all the players yesterday at the golf outing. And then I'm going to figure out what my next adventure is going to be. My older son is starting grad school in the fall, in September, over in the UK, because he's going to get a graduate degree at school over there, Oxford Brookes University, which is the #1 rowing school in England. And they produce some of the top rowers in the world. And so he's going to have a chance to row for them next spring. So I could be in the UK next spring taking pictures of Oxford Brookes rowing. And so I'm starting to look into some hikes in Scottish Highlands, looking into the Camino de Santiago, trying to figure out if there's a way to do either of those in January or February before his season starts, but neither of them looked that appealing that time of the year. So I'll figure out if maybe I do them after his season next summer. But I'll figure out a few things. As far as the channel goes, I definitely am going to keep it. It's called Epic Adventures because there's going to be more adventures to come. This wasn't the only one I planned to do. So hopefully if I do something else, you guys will be interested in it and follow along and see how it goes. With that, the last thing I guess I would close with, I mentioned in one of the videos towards the end there, the song popped on the radio, and songs pop on my phone all the time at the very right moment. One of them was a song, Kyrie by Mr. Mister, had a line in it that was one of 2 songs that I had on a bulletin board in my when I was in college. A couple of people asked me what was the other song, and so the other song is a song that most people don't know. It's by Rush, the band Rush. It was on this album Signals, and it was like a deep track. It wasn't a big hit for them, and the song was called Losing It, and it was kind of about performers who once were great and are slipping. And there's a line in there that I wrote on had on my bulletin board, and has always stuck with me. It said, "Some are born to move the world, to live their fantasies, but most of us just dream about the things we'd like to be." And yeah, that's always stuck with me as kind of a reminder to not just dream, but go after the dreams. And I'm glad that I went after this one. This is a dream I've had since probably college. And you know, if you're out there and you have a dream, just go after it. Just try it. Even if you don't succeed, you'll feel better that you tried it. So that's all the perspective I can offer from hiking the Appalachian Trail for now. But thank you all for following along. I really appreciate the support, and really love that you guys were on the journey with me. So thanks.